Hello, everyone. We have a special guest today. You know, there's always a buzz between landlords and tenants. So today, we're here to settle that fight. And we have Barrister Yolanda in the house.
Yay!
Please introduce yourself because I know I will be able to do a good job.
Okay, so I'm Barrister Yolanda, the principal partner of the Law Lane, a legal firm which is expressly into core litigation. We're under retainer with various banks, the likes of Sterling, Fidelity, Zenith, FCMB, etc., aside from other corporate companies. And we do some of incorporation, intellectual property. You want to wind up your company, what the guys to go to. You want to increase your share capital with what the go-to persons also. So whatever it is, dissolution of marriage, come through to us.
If you need any of these services,
Yes.
I'll put Yolanda's link below. Check out the CV. Check out the CV. So she's qualified for all your legal needs.
Yes.
I'll put her contact below so you can link up with her and get everything sorted. Today, we are going to make two videos. Part one is to answer all the questions from the tenants.
Okay.
And part two, we're going to answer all the questions from the landlords.
Okay.
She's going to sort you out. So let's start. First of all, who is a tenant?
A tenant is not the owner of a house. A tenant is one who is given permission to be in a property, to be in a building, given permission by the owner, who is the landlord, to be in a property, to take possession of the property for a period of time. Not for a lifetime, for a period of time. So that's what a tenant is.
Now, what should I never do as a tenant? What's the worst sin a tenant can commit on a property?
It's funny, but a tenant should never do what he or she cannot condone in their own property. So don't destroy the property of the landlord. Don't take possession like it's yours. There's no worse sin that you can do as a tenant. Treat the property like it's yours. How do you want the property to be managed? Is it how you're managing the landlord's own? Is it how you're managing the one you're currently in? How do you want the property to be managed? So do not destroy the property that is being put in your possession. Do not destroy it. Keep things the way they are.
Who is responsible for repairs? This is always one of the major fights.
Oh well, repairs, it depends. For substantial repairs is the landlord. Structural repairs is the landlord. The owner of the property does all of that because it has to do with breaking down, a part of the fence, or to break down the wall, to try and fix the water and all of that. So when it comes to major repairs, the landlord handles that. But when it comes to minor repairs, repairs like the doorknob, the toilet seats, the kitchen cabinet, those are easy things that were in good place when you were put in possession. So those are things that you should be able to fix by yourself. But when you want to do major repairs, get the permission of the landlord before you do that.
Okay, basically, fittings.
Yeah.
The tenant should take care of the fittings.
Yes,
small
take care of the
Like if
little
it has to do
fittings.
with breaking down the house itself.
Major structural repairs, leave it for the landlord to handle.
So what should I do if my landlord refuses to make the necessary renovations in my apartment?
If you think you have the need to renovate your apartment, communicate with your landlord. Let him know you want this and this and this and this to be renovated. It's normal that after a while staying in a place, there are wear and tears, there are things that need to be renovated. It's quite normal. But before you do any of that, communicate with your landlord. If he gives you permission, put it down in writing. Let both parties agree to it.
And if I do it, can I deduct it from my next rent if I make the repairs?
Well, don't just do that by yourself. That's why I say communicate with your landlord. You make those repairs, but make those repairs with the permission that has been given to you by your landlord or the landlady, the owner of the house.
Yeah.
Don't just assume that because you're now in possession of the house and you want to make these repairs, you just go ahead and make the repairs and feel like you're entitled to it being deducted from your rent. No. communicate with your landlord. If he tells you, okay, you can do these repairs, and then I'll take it out from your next year's rent, or I'll subsidize it with this amount for you, I will split it 50-50. There is always something that can be met between two parties. Communicate. Don't just assume and work on it. Communicate.
That's good to know.
And when you communicate, if there's an acceptance, put it in writing. Don't take oral agreement. Put it in writing.
Wow. Now the big one.
Okay.
The agency and agreement fees are so high these days. What is the official agency fee and agreement fee when renting an apartment for the first time?
Well, there's no official, right? There's no one that is being backed up by the law. And the tenancy laws of Lagos State, there's no one being backed up by the law. But what we use is 10%. So usually 5% for agency fee and 5% for agreement.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Total of 10%?
Yeah, total of 10%.
Oh my God.
So it's usually 5% agency, 5% agreement. That's why it's agency and agreement fee 10%.
Total 10. Oh
10%.
I've heard charges of 10% each, which is 20%.
I'm sure you've even heard charges of 20% agency fee, and then you hear 10% agreement fee.
Oh my God.
Everything boils down to what the agent is implying that is their fee. Most
Tenants,
times,
are you learning?
most times the landlords, the owners of the houses don't even know the excruciating amount of fees that the agents are placing out there. But there's no statutory amount or percentage for agency and agreement.
And that leads me to asking, why do prospective tenants even have to bear the cost of the legal fee imposed by the house owner?
Okay, let me explain this to you. When you get into an agreement with an individual and you want it to be binding, you get the services of a lawyer, right? Now, when you get the services of the lawyer, there's a payment that is done for the services of the lawyer. Now, that's why the tenants have to pay for the agreement fee, because now you're getting into an agreement with your landlord, who doesn't have an idea of what a proper or statutory agreement is. He gets the services of a lawyer. Now the lawyer is the one drafting the agreement, and the lawyer is the one that is being paid. So that agreement fee goes to the lawyer for your agreement. Agreement is quite important. So the agreement fee goes to the lawyer.
So who benefits from this agreement? The tenant or the landlord?
It's beneficial for the tenant. It's also beneficial for the landlord, but majorly for the tenant, because whatever is put in that agreement is what binds the tenant and the landlord. It's something that you can use in court at any time. It's something that if your landlord does something that you're not comfortable with, and you go through your agreement and it's not listed or it's not stated in any clause in the agreement, then you can take it up with your landlord.
Wow.
So tenants pay for your agreement fees. It is very, 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 very important for tenants. And go through it. Read your agreements.
They're not they read. They just come into the lawyer's office.
Oh,
right?
they just sign because of you're so anxious. You need the
To move
place.
in.
You just want to move in. You get the agreement, you sign. It's not being vetted by a lawyer. It's not even being vetted by you as a tenant. There's some clauses you will not be comfortable with. There's some clauses you might not be comfortable with. And when you see them in this agreement, when you see that, oh, I'm not comfortable with this clause, it's something that can be discussed with your landlord. If he doesn't want it, if he doesn't want to let it go, you can now look elsewhere.
Yeah, that's a red flag, isn't it?
Yes, it's a red flag. You can look elsewhere.
Okay. Another biting one.
Okay.
Can the government put a cap on the amount of rent that tenants have to pay? For instance, you see 3-bedroom houses going for 4 million, 5 million. Is there a way for the government to put a cap and say, landlords, you must collect this amount?
Can the government put a cap on how things are being sold in the market? The government can't put a cap on that. There's a law that governs that, but the law just says, let it be reasonable. The tenancy laws of Lagos State just says, let it be reasonable. A certain percentage, 40% of the sum, 30% of the sum, but let it be reasonable and let it be given within reasonable time.
Okay, this one is for increment in rent.
Yes, for increase.
We're talking about the actual rent, like the first rent you're told to pay. Like you feel that for a 3-bedroom flat, why should I be asked to bring 5 million naira? You know, these days when people are house hunting, you see people queuing outside to view just one. So the landlords just up the rent, knowing that people are desperate to pay.
Oh no, cost of living changes every day. cost of living is what is causing the increase in rent. Now, if it's different if you're talking about increase in your rent. But when you're talking about coming into a house newly, you cannot, the government doesn't have any right to tell a landlord how much he should let his house. The government did not join the landlord to build the house, to buy the building materials. The government did not do that. So the government doesn't have any right whatsoever to tell a landlord how much he should let his house. It should just be a reasonable amount. Now, he cannot let his house out for something less than what he already built it for. You know how building materials are increasing day by day. A bag of cement last year is not the same thing with this year. A bag of cement 2 years, 5 years back is not the same thing with this year. So you can't put a cap on that.
So what can the government do?
The government should provide houses.
Low-cost housing. We've been shouting it for years.
Jack and they did a great work.
40 years ago.
Jack and they did a great work. 40 years ago, those houses are still existing and people are still grateful for that. So the government should provide affordable buildings, affordable houses for.
Yeah, that's how the government can intervene.
That's the
government, are you watching? Governors, are you watching? Build houses for people and rent will automatically come down.
Yes, when it comes down, when people see that they have other alternatives, they tend to now, landlords can now reduce the amount of money they're using to let out their houses. But when there is no option and cost of living is increasing every day, it's normal when you're the it person at the point in time, you take advantage of it.
Yeah. So now let's come to rent increase after you've moved into your house. And now, how often can the landlord, by law, how often can the landlord increase the rent, and by how much, by what percentage?
Oh, I think the law provides that it should be increased after 3 years.
Oh.
Yeah, 3 years, 4 years. That's when there can be an increase. Within that 3 years, 4 years, it should be a reasonable time also. Now, when I mean 3 years, 4 years is you live in a house, the first year, the second year, the third year, there can be an increase. But in that third year, it's not something that can just happen in the morning. The landlord will tell you, oh, before you pay your next rent, it's been increased to 1 million or being increased to 2 million. Even in that third year, there should be a time frame of like 6 months to inform you enough. So if you want to stay there, you can stay there and continue with the new rent. If you want to move out, there's ample time for you to get elsewhere. But increase cannot be done yearly. It's not. The law doesn't permit that.
Even if the inflation is skyrocketing.
No, increase cannot be done yearly.
Okay.
There should be reasonable time.
Okay.
Yes, you cannot be, as a landlord, you cannot be put in a box as to how often you can increase your rent. But the law clearly says that after 3-4 years, you can now increase your rent. If you don't want, as a tenant, move out.
With your knowledge of the law, what do you think is better for the tenants? Monthly rent payments or yearly rent payments?
Well, yearly payment, I would suggest. Yearly. Please avoid monthly payments. Yearly is advisable because when you pay for your rent yearly, it arranges you, In a year, you don't have to bother about paying your rent. Nothing like increase can come within that year. But as a monthly tenant, if you pay your rent monthly, the next month the landlord can increase the rent. You cannot tell him to stop. You cannot tell him to go on. He can increase his rent every month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months. But as a yearly tenant, you are bound by that agreement that has been signed, by the landlord for that year.
Okay.
So
that's good to know.
And you also don't have to bother about your rent for a year. Imagine having to bother yourself monthly for your rent to be paid.
And the monthly rent may be higher, right?
Yes, it may be higher.
Yeah. What if my landlord suddenly increases my rent or issues me with a quit notice right after I renovated the apartment to my taste? What can I do in this case?
First of all, you moved into a building. You saw how the building was. You moved in, you paid, you occupied the space, you took possession. Now, if you want to renovate to your taste, have a conversation with your landlord. You want to change your roofing to POP, have a conversation with your landlord. You want to change the tiles, you don't like the color of the tiles, have a conversation with your landlord. Whatever you guys agree on, put it in writing. Do not just assume, like I always say. Don't assume that because you've renovated, the landlord doesn't have a right to throw you out. The landlord doesn't have a right to reduce your rent or increase your rent. You're going, no way. Please communicate with your landlord, because he made the space habitable for you and you moved in. If you need to make any corrections, inform him. If you need to renovate anything, inform him. Then it's better for you if you see that the space is something that you intend on staying for a long time, or you're doing basic and major renovations, take it on a lease. Sign a lease agreement for 2 3 years, 5 years. Sign a lease so that you know that within the space of 2 years or 3 years, you don't have to worry about your landlord coming to kick you out for after renovations or whatever. Do not renovate, do not do major renovations if you're just paying your rent as a yearly tenant. Don't do major renovations. Anything can happen.
And by this lease, you mean signing a binding agreement the landlord will allow you to live there for 5 years or 3 years,
Okay, so
and you'll be paying yearly still, right?
Yeah, no. So a lease agreement is where you have possession of this property for 2 years and above, right? Now, if you don't have money to pay for that lease for 2 years and above, then you can now say, okay, let me enter an agreement with my landlord. I'm going to renovate this space, but we get into an agreement which says I'm going to be here for so period of time. And if at all there's a need for me to leave, the landlord can compensate you with a certain amount of what you've spent actually.
Wow.
And keep your expenses, keep it down. Whatever you have spent in renovating, doing any corrections, whatever you have spent, make sure you have receipts for it.
Wow. By law, how many years advance rent are landlords allowed to collect from tenants?
1 year. 1 year. 1 year. Landlords will ask you for 2 years and above. By law, as a tenant, a yearly tenant, it is 1 year. 2 years and above becomes a lease. So it's no longer a tenancy agreement, it's now a lease agreement. 1 year is what your landlord should take from you.
What if I do not pay my rent? What will happen? What if I allow my rent to run out, expire?
Are you okay? If you do not pay your rent, the landlord would take action against you. He would evict you out of the house. You not paying your rent technically means you don't want to live in the house anymore. So please go.
And it's quicker to evict somebody that their rent has run out, right?
Oh no, once your rent has run out, if your rent has expired, you're no longer under anybody in agreement with your landlord. Yes, he's just going to issue you a 7 days notice.
Wow.
To
Instead
the
of the
possession.
6 months.
Yeah, no 6 months after your rent has expired, please.
If I have a court case with my landlord, am I required to continue to pay rent?
You're in court because you failed to pay your rent. If you decide to pay your rent, it means you're asking to settle out of court, right? Now, if you're going to settle out of court, aside from your rent, are you going to subsidize the money that was being paid for legal fees to take you to court? Why did you allow it to get to the level of going to court at first? If you needed more time, it's something you would have communicated with your landlord. I need more time to leave the place, or I need more time to pay the rent. Now, if you want to now settle out of court, pay the rent and also keep extra money on the side to subsidize the fees that have been paid.
Fees.
Exactly, the legal fees that have been paid.
Yeah.
Keep some money aside for that.
Okay. What if I want to pay but my landlord refuses to collect the rent?
He doesn't want you in the house, clearly. You go.
Another babati, another big one. Caution deposit. What do I do if my landlord refuses to give me back my caution deposit, even when I kept the house in good condition? Not perfect, but livable, like normal wear and tear condition.
Wear and tear. Now, if you were given the house with wear and tear, will you not have complaints? If you were given the house with the doorknob out, or the hinges of the door falling out, or the holes in the wall for window units AC, would you not have complaints? It's not possible to live in the property for over a year or even a year and leave it the same way you came in. It's not possible. This issue of caution fee, forget it. The caution fee is going to take care of the wear and tear you left in the apartment. The painting, the window units, the split unit you put in the house, the kitchen cabinet that is probably fallen off, the doorknob, the toilet seat. That's what your caution fee is used for. And it's 100%. You're not going to leave the house the same way you came in.
Yeah,
Either you
sure.
leave it better or you leave it worse.
What if they just deduct an amount equivalent to what I destroyed.
What do you think is the amount equivalent? Some caution fees are not even enough to take care of the damages that caused in the houses. So what is the amount? What amount do you think is enough? If it's something, there are caution fees that go as high as ₦1,000,000 naira. So if the damages, the wear and tear that is being done in the house is something that could be, fixed with maybe 200, 300, you can discuss that with your landlord. Of course, they are entitled to give you back a bit of it, a fraction of it.
Yeah.
If it's something that doesn't consume the whole million.
Okay, so caution deposit is not a money grab by the landlord.
Oh,
right?
no, it's not.
Because it's seen as a money grab.
No, it's not.
Now, back to the rent increase rules.
Okay.
If my landlord does not follow those rules, can I sue him?
You can sue him. The court can give an order, you can take him to court. However, you're not going to be forced to stay in the house. If you're not okay with what is happening in the house, you go.
Right.
The court
Sadly.
cannot force a willing tenant on an unwilling landlord. And the court cannot also force a willing landlord on an unwilling tenant. So the court cannot insist that your landlord must allow you stay or must increase. No. The court can only intervene for you to be given some time.
Okay, that's all we have. Thank you so much, Yolanda. Thank you.
Like, comment, share, subscribe.
Don't forget to click this link here. Click this box to watch part 2 where we talk about the landlord.
Yes.
This fight between tenants and landlords must be settled.
We will settle on.
Thank you so much, Yolanda, for
You're
answering. If you have more questions, if you're a tenant and you have more questions that she did not address in this video, please leave them below and I'll find out from her and I'll respond to you.
Don't come for me. Don't come for me. Leave the questions below.
If you go for her, she's a barrister.
I'll come for a